economy will shrink in the course of 2023. And then weren't that different compared to many others when it comes to the inflation, because inflation is just...
But restoring price stability when inflation is high can require measures that are not popular in the short term.
And today is Tuesday, January 17th, 2023. Welcome to Financial Stockholm. I'm Christopher Crystal. These are the views and what we're seeing in the press in Sweden and Scandinavia. So right now in Sweden, we woke up to another bomb blast in the south side of Stockholm. There was a car explosion outside of a restaurant near to a school. It's probably targeted towards the restaurant because that's been a long-standing business venture for the mob. There's always been cash in the restaurants, and even down to the coat checks. So the car bomb blew up, and the school is closed for the day, and it looks to be tied to the mob. The Swedish police are investigating this, but it's again kind of a statement about Sweden and the quality of life. So we're experiencing more crime. We're highest ranked right now in Europe in terms of violence and violence with weapons and so forth, and violence for drugs. So this is going to stir into our political side. So we have this Sverigedemokraterna, or the Swedish Democrat Party, and they're right now pointing out how many new Swedish citizens we've received, and they're going to correlate that to the crime rate, and they're going to ask for harder prison sentences and so forth. So that's going to create a little bit of a tumult. But we do have the Moderaterna Party, the Christian Democrat Party, and the Liberal Party. They're the ones in the government, so this shouldn't spill over too much to them. But it does allow for the Swedish Democrat Party to do things like work with Social Democrats on things like a minimum wage. But that's the state of the economy as we woke up this morning, and the health of the economy is really looking weak. We see joblessness increasing, so that's been climbing. It's gradual, but it's climbing, and then also climbing are the interest rates. We did see a higher cost of goods. We saw lower food sales in December, and that's traditionally a strong month for Sweden because it's our Christmas time. And so the inflation cost is dramatically impacting there. And also this idea about a minimum wage and increasing the level for it. These types of debates only occur in a weak economy. If you have a strong economy and people are getting jobs, people are not worried about the minimum wage because people are paying up. So that's what the Swedish economy looks like today. But also of interest for Sweden is what's going on in China. GDP was at 3%, and that's better than the 2.8 that was predicted. So that's a good sign for the global economy. But we'll see how it develops, because remember, the shipping rates were declining in China, and they look to continue to decline right now. They were at 9.9% in December, and that was a decline from the month before. So that does have the lockdown effect, the latest lockdown series. But it's and then it's of course based on the slowing figures worldwide. German inflation is down. It's nothing to cheer about because they're still at 9.6%, which is way far away from 2%, which is their target. And it's also at a very high rate. So that's not good. Germany is getting itself in order, though. They've got a new defense minister today, Pistorius, and he's replacing Lambrecht. She really wasn't getting on board with the military, even though that was her primary goal and group. But I think a small positive overall for the European economy is it's involved directly with GDPR. Now, GDPR can hinder a lot of the internet, but in this case, it's locking down what Google can do in terms of tracking. That was announced earlier in the year, close to the first week. And then Facebook, according to Reddit, you're not allowed to be tracked on it. So that's a positive sign for the economy or for the consumer. So maybe that's a small thing forward, and that's on the EU. On the automotive sector, we see that a full 10% of all sales last year globally were electronic vehicle. And that's largely attributed to what's going on in China and here in Europe. So in Germany, the most cars sold were electric. The overall total sales for cars were 11% in Europe and 19% in China of electric vehicles. So it's a total of 7.8 million globally. But this is a great figure, but you have to remember our European electrical grid is really under a lot of pressure, and we haven't built it out, nor are we making the improvements. You did see Germany sign a deal with Qatar for the liquid natural gas, but we need the infrastructure built out in order to have this amount of electric cars. Otherwise, we're going to see events like what we had in Switzerland, where they were telling people not to charge their cars over the weekends. So, we had this riot in Germany where environmental protesters and our own Greta Thunberg showed up to protest the use of coal, which I don't disagree with for the environment, because you get a lot of particulates in the air when you're using this coal. It's a very dirty coal, but it would be nice if they turned on the nuclear, and that is the part of it that they're forgetting to do. So if Volkswagen, which is already showing strong electric vehicle, Tesla, which has been a strong contender, and others are looking to have in Europe, you need to have a better grid, and you'll need the nuclear on in Germany. So we're doing our part here in Sweden. We're going to be building new projects, and we'll see if we're going to recommission some of our older ones, but that may still be in the works. And then we can have more than 10 nuclear power plants. That's the new law change. So that's a positive. But we do need to see events like this occurring, and we need to see investment into the infrastructure for companies like Northvolt and companies in Norway, where they're building up these batteries. So that's a really key component. Wind power would probably be the continued play. There's a proposal to do sea-based wind turbines, and hopefully that gets scuttled. It is a quick solution, but it is environmentally detrimental to the sea life, and those things don't really work that well. And when you add the combination of salt, you need increased maintenance. So, but there will probably be more wind power projects on land here in Sweden. So that could be an area for investment as well. And then, of course, as we're focused on the electricity, the weather here is very warm. So we've had that benefit for our power prices. And that's good, because the power price payback doesn't look to occur until March, as opposed to the promised February, which goes all the way back to the original November 1st promise. So fortunately, we're not freezing, and we do have some positives coming. Hopefully, we'll see what the Swedish interest rates will be, and we'll see what the ECB does on the back of the German inflation, although it looks that they would increase. And based on that, just always remember, you can make money in the market if you're going long, if you're going short, and if you're going to go strategic or tactical. You can make these decisions to make money in the market always, at all times. So hopefully you're subscribed, and we'll see you tomorrow. And thank you very much for your time. Bye.